Manchester City #1, Manchester United #2. Gosh, we are ready for the Manchester Derby this Sunday, the big one in the Premier League. So at this moment, let's bring in a very dapper-looking Stuart Robson, might I say. He's got the matching man bag and all. But Stu, tactically speaking, we know no Paul Pogba for this one. So how do you see Man United going out?
Well, this game's all about the way Jose Mourinho is going to match or try and play against Man City tactically. I think he might go with the same way as he did against Arsenal, where he's going to play with a back three, but he's got to make sure the two wide centre-halves go and press Sane down one side and Sterling down the other. Otherwise, they'll end up doing what Chelsea did, defending too deep, allowing Man City lots of the ball, and then Man City will control the game. And he's got to make sure Herrera and Matic do a really good job, get tight to De Bruyne in that midfield, and if David Silva's fit or not, or if he is fit, they've got to make sure those two players don't run the game. And of course, he's got to have pace up front. So if they do win the ball back, they're ready to counter-attack. They did it well for the first 20 minutes against Arsenal. Then they sat deep. But that's the way I think he's got to go against Manchester City. He's at home. He's got to press fairly high up the field. He's got to make sure his wing-backs press against Man City's full-backs. And his wide centre-halves go up against Sterling and Sane when they need to.
Well, stay tight on De Bruyne and David Silva. That sounds almost easier said than done, Stu, for Man United. How are they going to do that?
Well, with those two players, Herrera and Matic, yes, they're going to go and join in the play. Remember, Mourinho did it against Chelsea. He marked Pedro and Hazard out the game, with Herrera being one of the players. I think Darmian was the other player. Yes, they're going to go and join in. They're going to go and play. But as soon as possession's lost, they've got to make sure they're in and around De Bruyne. They're in and around David Silva. And if the wing-backs push high onto Man City's full-backs when they can do, then it won't be easy passes into De Bruyne and David Silva. So they've got to make sure that Man City don't control the game as they did against Chelsea earlier in the season, where they completely dominated Chelsea and Chelsea couldn't get out their half. And if they do that again, if their wing-backs drop really deep to mark Sane and Sterling, they'll be outnumbered in midfield and they won't be able to break forward.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I know you want to weigh in on Stuart's dapper suit, but we're not going to let you do that just yet. Let's talk about what did you make of what he had to say about marking or being able to stay close to De Bruyne and Silva. Stevie?
I think this is interesting because, you know, every time we've seen Mourinho come up with tactics, Stuart's talking about Chelsea, you know, basically going mano-mano, they've always been away from home. This game's at Old Trafford. Is Jose Mourinho really going to sit in at home in a derby against Manchester City and hope that they can break? You're actually going to give City 60 yards of the field and try and condense it. And remember, we all know that City can be vulnerable defensively. They've definitely been better this year. But when you win the ball back, you've still got to get 60 yards to get the ball in the back of the net. I can't wait to see how defensive they are. I certainly hope it's not as bland as I think it's going to be. But I just don't see how, at home, you can go and kind of basically man-mark a couple of players.
All right, well, we'll continue talking about this on the show tomorrow for sure. Shaka Hislop will give his opinion then. But, Stu, let me get a prediction from you.
I think Manchester City will still win the game. I think they're the better side. I think it's going to be a struggle for Manchester United to get Mourinho to get his tactics right. Man City to win the game by 2-1, as it was at Old Trafford last season, early on in the season.
Ooh, it is hard to argue with you there, and the SPI projection is not arguing with you. It favors City 41% to 34%.